Hey there, and welcome to Catherine's Conversations in the Country. I'm Catherine Lane. Normally, as you know, we do the show at my home outside, but it's been freezing. It's been raining. But I'll have you back at the house another time whenever we can enjoy the horses and the actual country. But now we're in our studio, and I'm talking to Alycia Toohey today. She is a licensed clinician and licensed marriage counselor. Correct?
Licensed marriage and family counselor.
Marriage and family counselor, and she is in Rock Hill at Palmetto Counseling and Consulting. Welcome, and thank you for joining us. It's all about mental health, and that's my goal. As many of you know, I lost my grandson, Aiden, on March 20th, 2023. He died by suicide. So it is my one hope, my one goal that this show will enlighten, enrich, and maybe save a life. I hope. That is my goal. Let's hope. School starting.
It is. And actually in South Carolina, I don't know if y'all are there, but it's already started.
Yeah.
They started last week.
Woo, buddy. I'm telling you. And that evokes so many emotions when school is starting. A lot of kids are like, yay, I can't wait to get to school. And then other kids are just like, anxiety is crazy. How do you get kids ready mentally to start the new school year?
Well, we talk a lot about, at least in sessions with me, we talk a lot about what can we do when we're feeling the anxiety? Who can we go to during our day at school? Who are safe adults in our lives? Hopefully that's mom and dad. Sometimes it's aunts, grandparents. At the school, hopefully it's, I know, at least for me, especially in high school, it was the nurse. Mm-hmm. She was my safe place. But maybe it's guidance counselor, school psychologist, a teacher, sometimes the principal, assistant principals. Well, so making sure that the child knows
there's somewhere they can go.
That there's somewhere that they can go.
Yeah. Not all kids get anxiety.
No.
What makes a child feel that way about school, do you think?
It can be a lot of different things. It could be just they're naturally an anxious kid. Sometimes it's they had a really bad experience early on in school. Maybe they had bullies at some point. Maybe the parents put a lot of pressure to have perfect grades.
Right. That's true.
Or grandparents put pressure.
Right.
To make sure, we need to get you into an Ivy League school or higher.
I'm just like, come on with a C and I'll be mostly happy. Anything north of that would be great. But, I think because I was a kid who, I had my things I was good at. Always in English, terrible in math.
Oh, same.
And sometimes, and I hope, and most teachers are wonderful, but sometimes the teacher themselves can cause anxiety.
They can, and I think it depends on if it's a new teacher versus an older teacher. Sometimes teachers, maybe they get burned out.
They do, yes.
They get burned out too, like everybody else.
Right.
Burnout happens. And
they're human beings.
Yes.
But if a teacher is causing anxiety in a child, and I say this because I had a personal experience with this. When I was in the 6th grade, my math teacher, and he bullied me. He knew I wasn't good, and I think he was trying to bully me into wanting to do better. But what he did was just give me a lifelong case of anxiety. Thanks, Mr. Hicks.
Probably around mathematics.
Yeah, it was around mathematics, and he would have me go to the board when he knew I didn't know the answer, or make fun of me because I'd be biting my nails because I was so anxious. But he's a human being, and this was a while back. Now, I know teachers are today they're probably a little more aware of kids' mental.
They are, and I think that makes a huge difference now. There is more awareness about mental health. Like if you were going to school back in the 80s and you were just sitting quietly at your desk, you were looked at as the good kid. And as long as you're quiet, kind of handed in your work when you could, and are on time,
right?
They really didn't care. But that kid typically was the anxious kid like me. and maybe even you.
Definitely.
Because, I didn't get good grades in math. Math was not my thing. I love English and I love reading. Still do.
Yeah.
Those are my favorites. And history, always a favorite. And science. But when it came to mathematics, it was a challenge.
And I went to, at that time, there was a math block and there was an English block, and my English teacher was an absolute angel. So I did talk to her, about him. And she just, one thing she did, and it was such a simple thing, but she just had compassion for that. She said, I know how he can be, but you're really good in English, and you can learn and be coached up with your math too. But I understand you're not wrong. You're not blowing this out of proportion. He does tend to pick on the slower in math kids. He loved the good math kids. But no, I'm not meaning to bash teachers at all. I know things are much different now. But being able to go to a trusted adult just helps so much.
Absolutely.
Because my mom and dad were ill-equipped. Even though at the time my mother was a pediatric nurse, I would get stomach aches because of the anxiety, but she just thought I had a bad tummy. She didn't even identify it really as anxiety.
Well, and let's be honest, back, in the 90s, anytime before, say, 2000, kids weren't thought that they could have mental health disorders unless they were bouncing off the walls, and that was clearly ADHD, or, they were some sort of behavioral issue within the classroom.
Right.
There just weren't many that were diagnosed at that time in history.
Yeah, I don't recall anybody talking about an anxiety diagnosis. And I imagine it was very common.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Those butterflies.
Exactly. Or worse, like you're getting
Nauseous.
sick before school if it's a bad case. But if your child does suffer from anxiety, is it time to call someone like you? Is it time to call a counselor? How do you know when it's time to seek professional help?
So I say anytime is a good time, honestly. And we're really good at knowing how often that a kid should be seeing us or when they shouldn't be seeing us. And we can even say, hey, this is normal everyday stuff, and we'll sit and we'll talk to your kid, we'll get through and give them some tools.
What are some tools? Like at home, what are some tools parents can do to help their children with anxiety?
Honestly, sitting quietly with them sometimes and just sitting. Sitting, even letting your kid just talk your ear off for 5-10 minutes.
Yes.
Just letting them talk without a solution, without, okay, we gotta hurry this up, I got dinner to make, and this, that, and the other. So letting them talk. Those are the most successful kids, actually, in treatment, that their parents actually take that time.
I've been doing this show every week for the past couple of years about mental health. The common denominator is parents and talking. That was something that people didn't do whenever I was growing up. They didn't talk about mental health, and talking helps so much. As a matter of fact, today, if I'm burdened by anything, if I share that with somebody else, even though they might not have a solution, just sharing how you feel. I know that sounds so simple, but it is so helpful.
Well, it's about being seen and feeling heard. So what parents can do is kind of like this conversation, see how our body language is really in tune with each other. And we're leaning into each other. We're having eye contact. We're speaking to each other, even though there's a camera here and hi all. But it's the body language that kids really pick up on, because before we have language, before there's language, we're picking up on our parents' body language.
You can tell if they really want to be there, or if they're
Yeah.
wanting to play Candy Crush, or
Exactly.
whatever.
Or
Look at me,
stuff on
Nikki.
Facebook,
Right.
whatever.
Yes. That is
So, parents, please be present with your kids. And I know phones are a lot of fun. They have a lot of, games and things to do, and we're connected to everything. But kids know. Kids really know
yeah.
because they've been observing you since before they could talk.
Right. Thank you, Alycia. We're going to talk about bullying next, okay?
Love
now, if somebody wants more information about how to find you, where
Sure.
can they go?
So you can go to pccrh.com. So that stands for Palmetto Counseling and Consulting in Rock Hill. I'm in Rock Hill. We actually have an office in Fort Mill as well. A lot of wonderful therapists work with me. I have a little bit of a busy schedule, but I usually do find time for new people. And we actually have several new people starting, so.
And I'll also like to talk about NAMI.org.
Oh, they're fantastic.
Yes, NAMI.org is a great resource to go to. And as always, if you're in a mental health crisis, you can dial 988 as well.
And 911.
And thanks.
You're welcome.